We've just hit 10,000 subscribers and I cannot thank you guys enough. The journey to get here has been long and very difficult at times, but at the end of the day, we're here. And I'm so excited to push the boundaries of this channel even more. So to celebrate in this video, I'm gonna be going through the last 8 years of my channel, showing you guys my very first levels all the way up to new projects that I'm working on right now. Also, just a reminder to subscribe. I do tons of shorts, live streams where I build my products and talk to you guys, and I even plan on releasing a full project every month this year, so you don't want to miss that. Anyway, let's get on to my very first project ever, Weightless Gravity. To set the scene, it was 2016. The game had only been out for about 3 years, and I had absolutely no clue what I was doing. You see, a common theme you'll find about my style in the first few years of creating was that I mimicked a lot of creator styles. In my mind, I thought, well, what better way to become as good as the pros than to just copy what they're doing? In some ways, I would be learning from the experience, and I'd be inherently making something good because, I mean, they did all the creative work for me. In hindsight, I definitely wouldn't suggest copying styles as blatantly as I did though. I'd say being inspired by creators you like and learning from their techniques is really good for you, but you should always have your own ideas and inspiration in mind. So let's take a look. You see, back in 1.9, auto levels were actually a lot more popular than they are now. And naturally, as the terrible player that I was, I wanted to make a level that had super cool gameplay that I didn't need to click in. You can see here that I was very inspired by Cataclysm, and here by the Caverns by Passblitz. I didn't really try to hide how copied it was much, I won't lie, but back then I had very little skill and so much ego, so we'll let Kid Zero slide for now. Anyway, I would continue to make more products over the next couple months, all vaguely inspired by top creators at the time, slowly improving. It was around this time that I started to create goals for myself as well. Solely from memory, I created a list of all these big things that I wanted to accomplish in the game. Some might seem pretty dumb, but hey, I was like 15. But interestingly enough, at the time I was so much more interested in playing the game and beating demons. Fun fact about me, in 2017, I would actually go on to get my first and only points on the demon list, beating future circles on mobile. But we're getting a bit ahead of ourselves, because in late 2016, in October to be specific, was when I released my first, actually pretty solid level. It was called Outbreaker, and it was my 63rd posted and the first ever video on the channel to hit 1,000 views. A big thing that I learned while making this project was that while effects can look extremely cool and almost impossible on your first watch, with enough patience, learning the tricks to make it work is so worth it. Wildly enough, I would release another pretty decent level just a month after called Inspire, which was dedicated to one of my close friends at the time while they were going through a hard time. And that's always something that I felt very passionate about, which is conveying emotion through this game. Which, obviously, it took me time to get better at that, but the thought was always there. Moving into 2017 and 18, this is where things really started to speed up for me. On January 6th, I would hit 50 subscribers and celebrate by beating Infrared, which was a pretty difficult demon at the time. And then just a few weeks later, the longest update the game has ever seen would come out, 2.1. This immediately sparked my interest in the game, and you would see me so active over the next couple of months. Preview after layout after whatever that is, until now, I won't lie. As a 16-year-old kid, I was very salty that I wasn't brought up in the original Ocular Miracle wish list. That being said, I had not made a name for myself whatsoever when it comes to layouts or decoration, so there was literally no way for Gaiden to know who I even was. But this is where I learned my biggest lesson ever, and I hope that this can help you guys out too. When I first started my channel, all the way back in 2016, I had exactly 1 comment on my channel before I even had 10 subscribers. It was from another young creator, in fact, and his name was Britank88. Some of you may know him now from his absolutely monumental project called Misanthrope, but at the time, we were both just creators starting out. Now, when you're first starting out on YouTube, it can be very easy to have an ego or feel like you're this big channel that doesn't interact with its fans. It's also very easy on the flip side to feel too embarrassed to speak because you only have a couple people in your comment section. But trust me, if there's anything right that I've ever done in my time playing this game, my #1 choice was to make connections and become friends with these people who were here from day one. So please, reach out to people, make connections, join servers, find a friend group that is just as passionate about this game as you are. I have not regretted those decisions at all, and I would not be where I am today without those people. So when the Imagine If video came out, I was upset, and I expressed some of those emotions with Britank and the rest of my friend group. I even went as far as making a layout to prove to myself that I was good enough, even though I probably wasn't. But the important thing here is now I have a goal. A goal to improve enough to one day be invited to this project, or whatever new project that would arise to rival it, because we all know that there will be so many of them. So to end the year out with a bang, I released 2 of my best levels at the time, Revival and Intrusive. I then started off 2018 with 5 full solo layouts in January alone, just so I could practice and hone in my skills to compete with the best. And hey, looking back on it, I could honestly never imagine myself building that much that quickly anymore, but I did say it was a tough journey at times. And hey, the work would soon pay off as well, as my first big stab into the community would happen that next month when I released Sengoku Hop, a solo layout that I still sort of enjoy today. Following that, I would also release some showcases of projects that I was and wasn't in to varying success. Future Cider being one that absolutely blew up for the time, staying as my most viewed video for over 3 years. But it was around this time that everything changed. By sheer luck and dedication, my friendships gave me a shot that changed my GD career forever. Britank, my first friend in the community and one of my first 10 subscribers, contacted Gaiden, the host of Ocular Miracle, and told him about me. This not only resulted in me eventually getting invited to Ocular Miracle, but also invited to TCT, one of the biggest teams in the entire game back in 2018. This year was absolutely a dream come true, and it was only March, but I had to hone in and make sure that I could do this all justice. Over the next month, I would stream nearly daily, building my progress in Ocular Miracle for hours on end. For some comparison of time, I created Aether in the same span of time that it took me to make my part in Ocular Miracle, which just shows how much time and care was going into making sure that this part turned out good. Sadly, on release, it got a lot of negative reception, as the part that I replaced in the project was pretty well loved. But the support of the people who did enjoy it, and especially the support of the Ocular Miracle roster, was enough for me. As you guys know, I would eventually end up making a second part in the level, and then going on to host Ocular Miracle. That, alongside with becoming a leading owner of TCT later on that year, was in my attempt to continue that legacy that Gaiden had started. I'd also go on to get invited into APT, the, at the time, competing team with levels like Sonic Wave Infinity and the Apocalyptic Trilogy. Later on in 2019, I also went on to use this boost in confidence to land parts and levels like Omega by Mindcap, Light It Up, Cyclone, Hurricane, Calculator Core, 13, and Abyssal Extinction, which somehow is still in progress 5 years later. To this day, I will always say that 2018 and 2019 were some of the best years that I ever had in my GD career. However, when 2020 came around, something had to change. At the end of 2019, I left on a bang. Releasing my most popular layout to date, titled Never Let Me Go, I had officially peaked, and I felt like the world was at my fingertips. But that was exactly the issue at hand. I tried to create. In fact, I had so many ideas for different levels, but it seemed like no matter what I did, I could never live up to the skill on show that was in Never Let Me Go. I lost motivation, and I was even on the brink of quitting. Until one day I was scrolling through YouTube and saw this song. This song gave me ideas like no other and encouraged me to do something that I had shied away from for the entirety of my Geometry Dash career up until this point. It was to branch out and to be something more than this person I was comfortable with being for the last years. In all honesty, I don't think that Ping is better than Never Let Me Go, but at the time, it genuinely made me feel like I was on top of the world. I felt like I could reinvent myself and do whatever I wanted. And now, with a new level of resurged motivation, I tried something that I haven't done in years, a solo level. If you were paying attention, you would notice that I haven't finished a solo level in just about 2.5 years at this point. I had been poisoned by mega collab culture to the point where making a 10-second part in a project felt like it took all of my energy. And to be completely clear, if that is you, if making mega collab parts, whether they be layout or decoration, takes a lot out of you, then that is totally okay. But personally, I wanted to do more. I wanted to make a project that had my face and my name on the front of it that would inspire and move the community. That was and is to this day my biggest goal. So that's what I set myself out to do. It would take me over 5 months to eventually finish, but I did get out my new solo on July 2nd, 2020 called Convalesce. So you remember that list that I laid out in the very beginning of this video? Well, 5 years later, I got a DM from Vibrant. And then just after shitting my pants about 7 times in a row, I DM'd Marwick. And just a couple months after that, I would follow that up with I Don't Wanna Go with Convy on December 13th, 2020. It was a prequel to Never Let Me Go and is actually my favorite project that I have ever made, ever, to this day. So thank you for that, Convy. The year came to a close with another high as I soon crossed 2,000 subscribers, which in the past led me down a path of demotivation, but this time I had a different idea in mind. Now, the last 3 years of my life have been absolutely life-changing. At the beginning of that next year, 2021, I decided that I wanted to make something out of YouTube. I wanted to push my own boundaries and inspire you all so that when the day came that I stepped away, I felt like I truly accomplished something beautiful. For the first 4 months of 2021, I would upload nearly weekly, creating new layouts, projects, previews, and even doing a face reveal. And it's this moment, this right here, which was the first inkling that showed what the ZeroSR channel would soon become. And it is awful. It is a terrible video. Please trust me, you do not have to go watch it, but I needed this to happen. I needed to be cringe back then so that I could be ever so slightly less cringe right now. And I would never take that moment back. Throughout the year, I would continue to push my own boundaries, working on things behind the scenes. On November 10th, I would release my best layout at the time in Sora, but that was only a taste of what was to come. You see, for my entire life, I found it to be so cool seeing the legends of any field all in one place just being great. The NBA All-Stars, seeing Jacksepticeye, Markiplier, and PewDiePie all collaborating with each other. It all just gave me such a sincere joy and happiness of that field, like, wow, like it can't get better than that. And I was a part of Geometry Dash's version of that in Ocular Miracle, but me, alongside a lot of other people I feel, thought that Owen felt kind of flat in the end because of how long it took to come out. So I made the career-long goal of making sure that I could do it, but do it right this time. And on December 21st, 2021, I would premiere the biggest project that I have ever made, Lotus. From this point onward, there was nothing that could ever top that. Getting every single one of my all-time favorite layout creators in one space, it was truly a dream come true. For me, it was a perfect representation of all of the hard work that I had put in over the last 5 years as I finally got to work alongside people that I found as my heroes. And yes, for those of you guys wondering, the level is still coming out. And in fact, it actually is coming out quite a bit sooner than you guys might think, so look out for that one. But let's move on. Over the next 2 years, I would start to document every project that I was making. From Proto Flicker to even going back and covering how I made I Don't Wanna Go, I started the long process of getting into this whole content thing. But in the end, it was totally worth it. Near the end of 2022, you guys saw the start of my life in live streaming in the Penthouse Discord server, which you guys should totally join. We have an amazing time over there. Over the next few months, you guys would see things like Sky and Soul and the start of Transhumanist, a top 1 project that I intend on making to help improve the demon list. Whether it actually will or not is up to you guys, I suppose, but trust me, I will give it my best shot. But to be completely transparent with you guys, 2023 was a very difficult year for me. With the ever-growing stress of being an adult and having big boy problems looming over me, it felt so easy to just give up sometimes. But that's not to say that we didn't have some amazing moments as well, and obviously, we're still here. For example, in July, we made 24, which to this day I tell people is the most fun I've ever had making a level ever. And we can't talk about 2023 without mentioning Liminal, a passion project that I made in dedication to one of my best friends, Leah. Making the decision to start making content is never an easy one. Hell, I didn't even tell you guys about how I literally dropped out of college in 2022 because I was so focused on YouTube. Though, for any of you guys watching this, please don't do that. Stay in school, but follow your passions. This, for me, it's not even a question anymore. This is where home is. This is what I love. And now, with late 2023 introducing the 2.2 update, there are so many projects, videos, and events that I plan on making and teaching you guys about over the course of the year. After 8 years of playing this game, I can still say with confidence that I still absolutely love being here, and even more so this community we're making. We are 10,000 people strong, and I only plan on elevating that, but I can only do that with your help. So while I did say that 2018 and 2019 are the best years I've ever had in this game, I have a feeling that 2024 will end up topping that list. Anyway, it's been real. I'm ZeroSR, and thanks for watching. 20K by the end of the summer? We'll see.